Welcome, everyone. We're here for our weekly live simulcast broadcast with Florida Closing and Escrow and BOW, brokers, opens, and tours worldwide, here to bring you real estate updates for your success. And we're here with the expert real estate attorneys, John Iowanu and Anthony Bauza. And as many of you know, we are an attorney-owned title company. We provide legal services to help structure deals, and we assist you from contract to closing. We have a 5-star rating with the Better Business Bureau. We have most languages. We're wireless, paperless, mobile, and remote. We conduct closings in our office, curbside, and any location as needed. We work with clients locally, anywhere in Florida, also from out of state and out of country via online notarizations and all the latest tools. So let's begin today. And also one more point is that we're the only title company in our Sunny Isles main location. But again, we have other locations and we are remote and mobile. So we're going to start today with, I believe it's a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. If Anthony could elaborate on that and any other news about rental assistance, et cetera, for COVID.
Yes, so the Senate bill has not been released yet. However, lawmakers are expected to make a major change today, and that would be in narrowing the eligibility for the stimulus checks. So as of right now, it is set at $1,400 per person, but the eligibility would change. So people earning less than $75,000 a year and married couples earning less than $150,000 would receive $1,400 per person, including children, and this would get money to about 90% of households. The checks would phase out faster than previous stimulus payments, with individuals earning over $80,000 a year and couples earning more than $160,000 being completely cut off and not receiving any stimulus regardless of the amount of children they have. Unlike the previous 2 rounds, adult dependents will be included. So college students, for example, are expected to be eligible for payments. Nothing has been finalized yet, but it's expected with this change. It just might well pass either today or sometime this week. But time is definitely of the essence, as an estimated 11.4 million workers stand to lose their unemployment benefits between mid-March and mid-April unless Congress passes this next corona relief package very quickly.
Okay, so thank you for that date. And then I'm going to go into some updates, good news about the real estate market. As you know, we're in a boom in Florida, Miami, where we're located. And Miami luxury condo sales have spiked 130% annually in January. And per the Miami Association of Realtors, total home sales posted double-digit increases for the 5th consecutive month in January 2021. And that's due, as we know, we've discussed a few times in our previous broadcasts, that's due to some of the pent-up demand, low mortgage rates that fueled transactions, and people fleeing to Florida because of the more relaxed COVID rules and weather. Now, also in addition, younger age home buyers are expected to pack the market, especially with the possible passage of Biden's $15,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. Anthony, has that passed yet, or that's still in the works?
Not yet. That would be a part of the overall full 1.9 trillion package.
Okay, thank you. All right, and there's also been a growth in the home prices in January, soared by over 10% year over year, at a rate of growth unseen since 2013. And according to Redfin, 11% of the saved searches in January 2020 were for homes greater than $1 million. That's up from 8.5% a year ago. And who's coming here? First of all, we know New Yorkers are fleeing here because of the tax benefits. Many Wall Street firms and now the executives as well are migrating to Florida. Elliott Management is moving their headquarters to West Palm Beach. Some other highlights are a Star Island estate hit the market 4 years ago for $65 million, and now it's under contract. Not sure of the exact amount, but most places are getting their asking prices. Also of note, I know that ex-President Trump's estate across from Mar-a-Lago hit the market for $49 million, and they're hoping for a good profit on that. Bal Harbour Shops owner Matthew Whitten Lazenby went shopping himself for a new home, and he purchased one on Altos Del Mar for $17.3 million. Dubai private equity firm is to invest $4.8 billion of Bitcoin in Miami. IBC Group wants to spend $100,000 of Bitcoin to help Miami Mayor Suarez with his dream of Miami becoming a crypto capital. And a few more things of highlights in purchases and growth in the market is, are they putting it on a credit card? North American Bank Card CEO is buying a Miami Beach mansion for $37 million. Lennar plans to build homes on the golf course right here in Aventura. Pastas is to open a restaurant in Wynwood, and there's believed to be migration also now into the arts and entertainment district. So those are some of the good points. And John, would you like to elaborate on any other good news?
Yeah, kind of like what you mentioned, the millennials are driving the U.S. home purchases right now. A significant portion of the purchase demand is coming from those millennials and the younger age buyer. Even though there's a low inventory for entry-level homes, millennials are still representing 33% of home purchases last month, which is up from 31% just a month prior. So additional stats are, well, regarding the millennials, it's also important. The reason we bring that up is because you want to maybe target your marketing to that demographic, right? So if that's a large group, you might want to focus your marketing on those millennials and targeting them. So other stats are the completed transactions for single-family homes, townhomes, condos, and co-ops rose 0.6% in January compared to December, and are up nearly 24% from over a year ago. Home sales continue to increase for the first month of the year, as buyers are quickly snatching up virtually every listing coming on the market. 71% of homes sold in January were on the market for less than a month. The average time on the market is 21 days, which is down from 43 days just a year prior. So it's down half. So right now, the South Florida market is still doing very well, and it's looking like it's going to continue through definitely the beginning part of the year and hopefully through the end of the year.
Yes, the forecast ahead is good for this hot market. And again, we're here to assist you at Florida Closing and Escrow, 1-800-FL-CLOSE, or locally 305-720-2844. And again, one of our advantages is that we provide the legal services and that we're here to help also hold hands if needed with first-time home buyers and more. We provide personalized service. And again, we have an excellent rating. So the next question goes to Anthony. There are bidding wars going on. I know a friend of mine, even in Jupiter, reported about 37 offers on his listing. So what's some recommendations on how to win the bidding war?
Right. So there's lots of things that you can do to basically make your offer stand out amongst the crowd. You have to think about it from the point of view of the seller. So what would the seller want to see? So anything definitely removing any contingency or shortening the time frame of a contingency, let's say a inspection period, all of those things would make an offer stronger. It will stand out to a seller. It will make it seem like a more serious offer. Anything like that will definitely help. If you can offer some sort of credit to the seller to help them with their closing costs. Things like that will definitely help you stand out in what is now a very crowded marketplace with the market how it is now. Also, there is this new service offered by a company called Knock. It's called a home swap. And various other companies offer services like this. And it's just a way to further think outside the box and think of ways to offer different possibilities for clients. And this particular service, what they do is basically if a client is interested in selling and buying, this service will basically allow the client to get a fully underwritten new mortgage based on the equity in their property that they're selling and offer a interest-free bridge loan to cover the mortgage payments on the old house until it sells, while they can put a down payment on their new home and close and move in on that one. So innovative things like this are definitely something to look out for if it's something that you could benefit your client and also make a offer stand out. It would be very helpful.
Very good information. Thank you. Our next question goes to John. What is the difference between a home appraisal and home inspection? Both are very important. One is about the value and one is about the condition. And also I had a question, can either of them be virtual at this, during this time?
So both are very important. Basically, the appraisal is a professional evaluation of the value of the home. A home inspection assesses the condition of the home. And the value of the home is the market value. Obviously, it's not what the seller thinks that the property is worth, nor is it what the buyer thinks it's worth. It's done by a professional appraiser, and they usually use a square footage mark where they rate and value the surrounding properties in the area. In most cases, an appraisal is ordered by the buyer's lender to confirm or verify the value of the home before the lender lends the money. Appraisers are needed for all loans, but not needed for cash purchases. However, we still recommend maybe getting an appraisal for a cash buyer if they want to know what exactly the value of the property is, especially in today's market where the low inventory is driving an increase in bidding wars and pushing these home prices upward in a not normal fashion. So what we recommend is try and get an appraisal contingency addendum added to the offer. And that way, if the appraisal comes in lower than the contract price, there's an opportunity there to negotiate the price down a little bit with the sellers. A home inspection, obviously, it just determines the state of the property, the condition, the safetiness of the property. We'll inspect everything like the roofs, the plumbing, the electrical, and things like that. This is also very important if issues do come up during the inspection period. They can also be negotiated. And if major issues come up, like cracking of the foundation or like a roof needs to be replaced, definitely it can be negotiated or the buyer can back out. So we highly also recommend that you keep the inspection period to 15 days. If you want to make your offer stronger, maybe 10. But Don't put 0 unless you really know that the property is worth it, because there can be issues that do arise, and if there is a major issue and you have a 0 there, you're risking the buyer's deposit. So bottom line is they're both very important, and we highly recommend using both.
Okay, thank you very much. And the next question is for Anthony. What should sellers disclose? I know there's a list of 10 things that are recommended, if you can elaborate.
Yeah, so the law in Florida is that where the seller of a home knows of any facts that materially affect the value of the property, which are not observable and are not known to the buyer, then the seller is under a duty to disclose that to the buyer. Basically, this is done through the seller's disclosure that's added to the contract. Basically, the buyer has to go through that form, and it has it all laid out for you. It has you can answer yes, no, or don't know to any of the questions. And if you know anything, basically you just answer that you do, and then your job is done as far as the law of disclosing. And it is okay to mark don't know. So you're not required to know everything and anything about that property. You just have to disclose anything that you do know that's not observable that the buyer wouldn't know. So for example, if you see a giant crack down the middle of the driveway, wouldn't necessarily have to disclose that because anybody walking through the driveway can see a giant crack. Now, if you have further information, let's say 5 years ago there was a pipe underneath that driveway and it burst, and every time there's a high tide it floods and your front yard goes underwater, that's not knowable. That's not observable by anyone. So that would be something then you would have to disclose. And this obligation actually also extends to real estate agents. So anything that they know that the buyer has told them, they're also under the obligation to disclose that. Most notably in Florida, some other states are different, but in Florida, any death that occurred on the property, homicide or suicide, that has been established to not be a material fact that has to be disclosed. So sometimes there's some confusion because people hear that from other states, but in Florida, that's not required. There's also other disclosures. For example, there's some environmental hazard disclosures. The one that we all know is the lead-based paint. So any home built prior to 1978, you include the lead-based paint disclosure along with the pamphlet. There's also radon. That one's already built into the contract, so you don't have to do anything extra. It's already in one of the sections. It's titled radon, and it gives the required disclosure there. There's also some others. It very rarely comes up, but sometimes endangered species. There's a very specific turtle that's threaded in Florida, and if it's on the property, you have to disclose it because you need the Florida Wildlife Commission to come out, make a report. They're the only ones that could handle any transfer of that animal. But other than that, as long as you disclose the items that are not observable, even in an as-is contract, you will be doing your requirement per the current law in Florida. Other things that should be disclosed that you sometimes may forget is any personal property that comes with the purchase. On the first page of the contract, there is a section to put what's included. Sometimes when buyers come for showings and your property is still on the premises, sometimes it can get a little confusing as to what furniture is or isn't included. Let's say the washer and dryer, which is not one of the listed items on the first page of the contract. So that would be good to disclose to any prospective purchaser what exactly is or is not included, so that there's no confusion come time of closing or signing the contract to know what's included. But yeah, as long as the seller disclosure form is filled out, you'll be taken care of, and it's very wise and highly advisable to include that with every contract.
Say you bought a foreclosure or a historic property and you don't really know that much about the history of it, the neighbors are going to fill you in. So make sure that you disclose. Okay, next question goes to John. What is driving the real estate inventory crisis? And, it looked bleak back in March for the first three months when things were shutting down and very questionable. But they're saying that this shortage of inventory actually was 10 years in the making. So if you can explain a little bit more about that for us.
Yeah, there's basically 5 trends affecting the low inventory. Obviously, number 1 is the low interest rates. Ultra cheap money is driving both increased demand and decreased supply. Because of this cheap money, home buyers are buying second homes. If they're from the Northeast or out West, they're looking to buy second homes down here in South Florida, and either to live in there part-time or to rent. So as long as the rates stay low, this short inventory is going to continue. Number 2 is buy low and sell never. So what's happening, as I just mentioned, is the income on properties is climbing. Innovations like Airbnb mean that single-family homes can be much more of a positive cash flow generator. So what we're seeing is people buying a second home and not necessarily selling their own home. So that's contributing to the decrease of inventory. And then underbuilding, as you mentioned, after the bubble burst 12 years ago, home buyers and home builders actually built about half as many homes for most of the past decade and are only now reaching long-term normal construction levels. So that also contributed to the low inventory. And would-be sellers are afraid to list their homes because there's nothing really to buy. So that's also exacerbating the issue. Number 4 is demographics. As I mentioned earlier, we're now well into the millennial era, and there are more millennials than any other generation right now. And this crowd is coming into its peak years of earning and home buying, so demand is up because of them. As I mentioned, you might want to consider targeting your marketing to them. The good news with that is we have a solid 5 to 10 years of millennial demand in front of us, so that's going to keep the market still strong. And finally, number 5 is the homeowner-focused policy. The CARES Act of foreclosure moratorium, although it is beneficial to some hard-hit sellers, it's not giving them a reason to sell because foreclosures are stopped, so they're staying in those homes for now, which is also adding to the low inventory. But those are the reasons. So if you're a seller, it's definitely a seller's market right now.
All right, thank you. And to appeal to the millennial market and to keep current, we strongly suggest that realtors stay current. And that's why we are doing our educational broadcast each week. And you're also free to contact us anytime you have any questions or your clients do. We're here to assist you to close more deals. And we also have technology available, such as the live simulcast broadcasts, which we could set up for your brokers' opens, for your showings. And we can also assist you with targeting viewers and getting a wider audience. In addition, we have professionals available for the 3D tours, for digital marketing, digital business cards, and more. So contact us to assist you with novel tools. And again, we recommend keeping current and staying ahead of the curve, as well as your listing presentations being digital and giving lifetime information, etc. So you stand out. And anyone want to add anything else? No? Right, so we look forward to seeing you next week. And in the interim, please stay safe, healthy, and keep buying and selling. Thank you very much from Florida Closing and Escrow and Bow.